What's happening, guys? Safety Liner C2 here. Got Bluebird Bus 2000 and Yo Bus 290 2010 RE on Baker Ranch. Just gonna drive around and talk. So, yeah. How have you guys been? Not too bad. I've had a pretty interesting last couple days, and that's what I'm here to talk about. So, I did lose my voice, and it is slowly but surely coming back, and I will explain why. So anyway, the last video was me explaining about this camp, and that already happened. I'm going to hopefully try and put this video up in a few days, but that camp already happened, and yeah, it was pretty interesting. So let me basically tell you what happened. So I'm not sure, I don't remember when exactly I recorded that video, but I put it up like a week after I recorded it, and I'm not exactly sure if I told you what actually happened. So basically, I'll just give you an overview, the quick story. The guy who was originally organizing it was supposed to be at a meeting a few weeks before the camp happened, but didn't show up when they called him. He said that he basically had planned nothing and that he was dropping out and we were in charge of it. So anyway, I somehow got put in charge of all of this, and yeah. So I had 10 days to pull a camp together. I'm sorry, my allergies are really bad right now, so I don't know if it's like allergies or I'm sick or what, but, you know. So anyway, I had 10 days to pull a camp together, and here's the story of how it went down. So I got the call on I think it was a Saturday, and I had my first meeting with the person, basically one of my really good friends, and he was going to be kind of my right hand. And I had that meeting on a Monday, and he was in charge of, crap. He was in charge of one of the stations, and he was going to help me anywhere else that I needed help with. So he was basically showing me his station on Monday. Crap. But Monday's meeting was basically him just showing me his whole station, which he put together a whole search and rescue type deal, and from what I heard, it was extremely cool, and everyone really liked that. We had another meeting on Tuesday with everyone who was involved, and basically we went over what we were doing and blah blah blah, but that still didn't help me that much, because I had never really done anything, you know, in this level. So me and my friend, we had planned for another meeting on Thursday. So we had how long was it? Almost a 4-hour meeting at Chili's. Yeah, we screwed around for a little bit, but you know, we couldn't really do anything because we didn't have exact numbers. And then finally, Friday rolls around. Now, this was crazy because, first off, well, on Tuesday they needed a trailer to put all the supplies in. So, no one had a trailer. I was able to find a trailer that we could use that someone let us borrow, but they needed someone to drive it, and I volunteered, even though I had never driven a trailer before. So Friday was my first time driving a trailer, and it was not as hard as I thought, actually. It was actually fairly easy. I mean, the hardest part was backing up, and I backed it up twice, and the second time I nailed it. And the first time was hard, probably just because, one, it was during the middle of the night, two, since it was during the middle of the night, I couldn't really see, and three, it was on a upwards rocky hill, But anyway, Friday rolls around and I'm packing up all my stuff. I was going to take my friend that I'd been meeting with. We were going to ride together. And I get a call from the other person who's been organizing, like, the logistics and stuff. And he says, "Hey, Cam, got some news." Okay, what is it? And he's like, "So some of the supplies are down at this other camp." Really? We couldn't even, like, get them together. I mean, yeah, I understand that we had 10 days to pull this camp off, but still, I mean, really? And I got a text from someone. Okay, that's fine. But anyway, thankfully, it was towards where we were heading, and it would only it would only make the ride about an hour, not an hour, maybe 45 minutes longer with actually getting the supplies and all of that stuff. So anyway, Friday rolls around, and we had a couple of jobs we had to do. We had to assign where the activities are going to be, where each unit was going to be camping, all that stuff. So we didn't have very long. We were running behind. We only had about an hour until check-in rather, was starting, and we were running that too. So I don't think I've ever been back here. So we get there around 7, and we, first thing we do is we back up the trailer, which was a pain in the rear end, and we go around and we assign each campsite, and then we start waiting for people to show up, and eventually people started showing up, which is good. Yeah, so people started showing up, and then they put all their stuff in their sites. And I get a call from my dad, who was at the camp out. "Hey, Cameron, you have a minute?" "Yeah, sure, what's up?" "We don't really like where we're camping." "Okay, and?" "Yeah, the people we're sharing it with, they put their trailer there, and they won't move it. And and I'm like, you're not going to do anything about it? You shouldn't, oh gosh, I don't know, talk to them or anything?" "No." "Really? Is there any possible way that we can get any other campsite?" And I'm just like, you know what? I have a perfect campsite for you, all the way in the back, the furthest one back. So we put them all the way in the back just because they wanted to complain. And that was pretty satisfying, being the boss of my dad. That's always something interesting. Sorry. Let's see. Hold on, give me a minute. Okay, so anyway, we have a little meeting that night with everyone who was there, and figuring out numbers and everything. We didn't go to bed until 2 o'clock, and thankfully, me and my buddy, we got a cabin since we were, staffing it. We were basically in charge, and so we got to stay in this nice cabin, and it got down in the 40s, mid-30s at night, so being in that nice cabin with actual beds and, a TV and a living room, refrigerator, all that was nice. It's not my definition of camping, but... So anyway, we wake up, we had an alarm set for 6, I think. To which my friend, I can't wake up in the morning, but my friend thankfully can. Sets the alarm, we both hear the alarm go off. He's like, okay, we'll snooze it just for a minute. Yeah, that minute turned out to be an hour. Um, yeah, so basically we had slept for another hour, and we were kind of freaking out. We're just like, oh crap, well, we have stuff we need to do. So you see, we we really wish that we could have gone to this campground before, because um, everything was so, you know, unproportionate on the map, and everything was so spaced out that we didn't realize how far everything was. So basically, we had to drive around everywhere, like to go get our own breakfast and, all this and that. Um, so we go there and we do flags. Good morning, camporee, all that stuff. And by that time, Friday, my throat was already hurting for no reason, even though I had not yelled. It was just a little sore. And then after I did good morning, camporee, about 5 or 6 times, I realized that I should not have been doing that, but because that was killing my voice. And yeah, so we start, you know, doing our stuff, sending everyone off, and there we go. So we had lots of, fun things. We had dodgeball, which I may or may not have seen someone get hit in the face with a dodgeball. Just the search and rescue thing, which they went to the highest point in camp, and I'll show you all a couple pictures towards the end of the video once I mention a few other things, and it's absolutely amazing up there. Let's see, just various other activities. So basically my job was to drive around and make sure that everyone was doing their activities, do whatever. So I would shuttle people from one side of camp to the other, basically whatever I wanted to do. Heck, I could have sat around all day and done nothing if I really wanted to. So I drove around for a while, just, walking in and out of each activity, making sure that everything's good, water jugs filled up, no one's getting hurt, blah, blah, blah. 12 o'clock rolls around, I'm dead. I am so tired because we had only gotten a few hours of sleep. We had only gotten like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And, me and my friend were so just dead. And we were barely halfway through the day. So we're like, oh man, I don't know how we're going to do this. So, anyway. So afternoon activities start up, and my friend is saying, oh my gosh, all my adult volunteers are late. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I'll go try and scour them up since I know who they are. So I'm driving around, and I eventually find them, to which I say, hey, I'll give you a ride up there, hop in the truck, let's go. So we get in, and we're driving up to their designated activity, to which these kids, they wave me off, and I'm just like, oh, hey, what's up? And they're like, hey, do you have enough seats for us two to hop in? We got to go to, this place. And I'm like, okay, well, I really wish I did, but we don't have enough space. I'm sorry. If I pass you again, I'll offer you a ride. But they're like, okay, thanks. And so I drop them off, and I actually realized that I needed to do something from where I had picked them up from, those adults from. So I start heading back that way, and I see these 2 kids, and I'm like, oh, what the heck, I'd feel really bad if I didn't offer them a ride. So I pull up to them, and I'm like, hey, do you guys still need a ride? And one of the kids is like, I don't know you, and I'm just like, what? And he's just like, I'm sorry, I don't get in a car with strangers. And I'm like, you just asked me like 2 minutes ago. And he's like, I don't know who you are. And I'm like, kid, if you've never seen me, or you did not hear me or see me at flags this morning or anything, are you like not paying attention at all? And he's like, I'm sorry, I just don't believe you. I don't believe you're a scout. And I'm like, what? You just asked me for a ride literally 2 minutes ago, and you're saying you don't know who I am. and I'm a complete. Okay, I understand the stranger part. Yeah, okay, maybe not everyone knows me, and I wish that everyone did. I understand that, but I even like proved it to him. I was like, I showed him all the schedules and the maps, and oh hey, I'm wearing a Boy Scout shirt and blah blah blah, and he's just like, well, if you say so, as if I'm gonna like do something, and I'm just like, what the heck, kid? Really? I mean, what I understand where he's coming from, but still, and I hope I didn't get reported for that, because that'd be a little bit weird. Um, so I eventually take them down there. Oh, you know what? I took them down to shooting sports, and I have a whole nother little separate story about that. So shooting sports, you would go all the way down to the road, take the second right, and then take, just keep on going down. And then there's a fork in the road, but that wasn't labeled on the map that there was a fork in the road. So I was like, okay, well, which way do I go? So it was just kind of like a 50-50, where do I want to go? So I decided I'm going to take the left trail, and it leads me up this hill and into some mud, of which I got stuck in. Now, if you don't know, I have a Toyota Tacoma, which are, they're pretty good off-roading trucks. So I was stuck in the mud for a couple minutes. Eventually it got me out. It certainly got dirty. And yes, I did wash it off a couple days ago. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's never happening again. It was really fun driving in the mud and, all that, but not my thing. To which I start going downhill and get stuck in some more mud. So, yeah, I got stuck in mud and maybe 2 more times after that, just going downhill. To which I was like, okay, well, that's probably not the right trail. And yeah. So, that happened. Let's see. Had chili for dinner, and oh my gosh, the guy who cooked it is an amazing cook. That was some of the best chili I've ever had. It had a real strong kick to it, but it was amazing. Let's see, what else? Campfire, basically. My friend was going to work on flags while I went up and worked on the campfire, to which we had this huge amphitheater that we could work with and basically do whatever with. So we had 2 fires going, and the guys didn't really plan out a whole, campfire program, and we try and be organized and whatnot and have one of those. But, it turned out really well. I told it, and then we had this thing. You guys know I do ceremonies and all this and that, and we were supposed to have a ceremony, but since I was running the camp, I decided to do something different. So I told a short story, and I called people out and basically recognized them for what they do. And I had one of the guys who actually lived on that camp. There were a couple of them. I had one of them come up to me and says that was one of the best ceremonies he had ever seen, which, to me is something huge, especially, that guy sees hundreds upon hundreds, and maybe, he's just like saying that to say that, but still, coming from him, that was, really, really great to hear that was one of the better ones that he's seen. One of the best ones that he's seen, So I was really happy with that, considering I was pretty much making it up on the spot. Yeah, so, and that's where I lost my voice at campfire that night. I did a lot of yelling, because you gotta entertain people, you gotta make them happy. So, I did lots of stuff, and after that, oh my gosh, me and my friend, we could not talk at all. So like, whenever someone would use a walkie-talkie, I would go like, yeah, whatever, yeah, okay, blah, 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 so, to which my friend and I decided that we were going to get some blizzards from Dairy Queen on the way back, to soothe our voice, and thankfully, my mom had packed some tea for my throat because I had said that my throat was already hurting. So we drank some of that, and there were popsicles in the freezer there, so we had a couple of those, and that, that wasn't too bad on the throat. So Saturday, my friend said, and I completely agree with, we were thinking we were going to get a 40% success rate, to which we got an 85% success rate. We'd thrown it together in 10 days. Not everything was going to go exactly how we planned, but, in our short little meeting with each unit after, some people had said that, this was one of the best one of the best that they had ever gone to, which for 10 days, that's pretty good. And I was really, really happy to hear that. Some of the things that people said about, like, oh, well, you could have done more planning. Well, yeah, I mean, we can't really do much in 10 days, but let's see. So Sunday, we decided we were going to have everyone awake at 5:45, and we were going to go up to the highest point in camp, watch the sunrise, and have an amazing church service. So wake up at 5:45. The dreaded snooze button again. It strikes again. So we hit snooze, and I hear the other guy on the walkie-talkie. He's like, "Hey, Cameron, Jack, I don't think everyone's up." And I reach over for the walkie-talkie, grab it, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll drive around and make sure everyone's up here in a few minutes." And I take my phone off the charger and realize that it's 6:20, and I'm like, "Oh crap!" Because we were supposed to meet at 6:40 for everyone to go up, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Jack, we're so late. We only have 20 minutes to pull this off." And the other guy on the radio, he's like, "Okay, well, why don't you go around and honk at everyone?" And I'm just like, that is such a great idea. So we go around, and everyone that was not up, I would drive in their campsite, the front of the campsite, and honk the horn I honked it about 10 times in each campsite, and that made my day, just honking people. And I heard so many people yelling at me, just like, "We're up," or "Stop honking the horn, it's annoying," or blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm sorry. I'm in charge here. And it was so, like, satisfying, just, honking the horn and, And, I really wish, because we were yelling out the window saying, get up, as we were honking the horn. But we realized we had megaphones after that. And I really, really wish we would have used those, because that would have been a lot more fun, honking the horn and using megaphones. That would have been great. But yeah. So we get to the highest point in camp, and I want to show you a couple pictures that are up on the screen. This is the view, and it's stunning. It's absolutely amazing up there. One of my favorite points to go up to. I've seen a lot of different. I've been to plenty of different places, and seen a lot of different things, but that is still one of my favorite places to go and just sit around at, I love going up there. So, one of the things is, one of the unit leaders for our troop, we had him play dead, because why not, during this little search and rescue exercise that I was talking about earlier. So we had him play dead, and that was pretty great. I don't know why I needed to mention that, but yeah, so anyway, we got everyone checked out an hour after we had originally intended to, because apparently one unit was short a driver because they'd never shown up, and yeah, so we had to figure out where they were going to sit because they were 4 seats short. So we eventually go around and we inspect each campsite, making sure everything's good, head out of camp, and we're off to go get our blizzard. Yeah, but we also had to go back to that, that other camp to drop off some of the supplies, to which we had to unload the trailer, and we were unloading the trailer, and I kind of got bored, so I did this.
Yeah.
And, I just needed to do that because, why not? So thankfully, no one else was in camp besides me and my friend. Everyone, we had that whole place, to do it. And that was at the other camp about an hour away from my house. So, I was extremely satisfied, and I got asked to be on the committee for next year's, to which I said yes, and I'm super, super excited about that. I love doing stuff like this, and I heard a lot of people say a lot of really good things about it. A lot of the scouts said that, they had an amazing time. And that's what I really like to hear, because this is something that I absolutely love doing. I like to know that people are having a good time, and I love to be helping out. And I highly encourage you to just go out and, try and make a small impact on someone's life, whether that be, helping out at a charity, or, telling a waiter they can keep the change, or, whatever. Just make someone happy. It's an awesome feeling. Words can't even describe it, and this is why I do what I do. So I had an absolutely amazing time. Definitely 10 out of 10 would do again. And I'm still surprised that they asked me to do it, because I saw at least 2 or 3 other people that they could have asked who were way more, probably qualified than I was, but they still chose me, and I am thankful for that. So, yeah. Now it's back to working my other camp. That's coming up here in about 2 months. 2 months to the day is whenever camp starts, and I'm excited. I got to get rolling my dice on that. Got to finish up all of my stuff, and gosh, I love doing this. So yeah, guys, that is pretty much my story for how I ran a camp and what went down. Lots of really, really awesome things went on. Some kid, also ran down a mountain thinking that he wasn't going to get hurt and cut his leg open. And, yeah, I don't know why I needed to mention that. That was not really needed, but whatever. So, yeah, definitely do make an impact on someone's life, like I said. It's worth it in the long run. So, yeah, guys, I think that is pretty much it. I got to get going here anyway. I got some other stuff I need to be doing. So, yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe right down here. It's a magical red button that says you're now subscribed to Safety Line or C2. Make sure you comment up here, down here, over here, or over here. I don't know where they put it. I don't care where they put it. Make sure you also give this video a thumbs up, or you're going to have to pull together a camp in 10 days. Trust me, it is not easy. And make sure you also share this video with a friend. Show it to your mom, show it to your dad, show it to a guy on a random street. I don't care, don't get raped. One other thing, before, I'll probably watch this video in 2 or 3 years. Just remember that magic school bus in Prairie Lea. That was pretty interesting. So, hey guys, that's pretty much it.